It's Monday, August 26, 2019, and I am eager to talk to Dennis Bonilla, who's calling me in a couple minutes. I've decided that Dennis is the key person to be the CEO and managing partner of our venture. He sent me an email this morning about AARP. The AARP chief, how living to 100 changes our ideas about aging. Joanne Jenkins is the CEO of AARP, the world's largest nonprofit organization membership organization. AARP is focused on helping people improve their quality of life as they age. It's more than 38 million members. Jenkins joined AARP in 2010 and became CEO in 2014. Previously, she was Chief Operating Officer for the Library of Congress, one of the many roles in public service. She is the author of Disrupt Aging, a bold new path to living your best life at every age, a book about changing society, views on aging. She is the first woman to be named CEO of AARP on a permanent basis. We call this longevity economy, meaning that people over age 50 are actually contributing more than $76 trillion in annual economic activity. In fact, if this cohort were a country based on the economic value, it would be number 3 behind the US and China. People over the age of 50 do spend an awful lot for and contribute to the economy. 51 cents of every dollar spent by someone in the US is spent by the person over age 50. And that money, what are they spending it on? They usually are spending it on the same things as millennials: home, entertainment, and healthcare. I would put those 3 things at the top of their list. Something you talk about in your book is to challenge outdated beliefs and about retirement and aging. What do you see as some of the most common misconceptions? A generation ago, middle age was 40. Certainly middle age has moved up to the 50s and 60s. Think about it. A 10-year-old child today has a 50% chance of living to be 104. So if you look at the 100-year lifespan, how do we start changing that perception of aging? How do we think about life if in fact 50% of us may soon be lived to be 100? So the book is about shattering those outdated beliefs and stereotypes. Even the idea that everybody wants to retire at 65 or 62. I think that we're seeing in that is that, in fact, close to 40% of our members say they want to continue working past traditional retirement age, either because they want to or because they need to. And we know that people who continue to work or even volunteer can live longer than people who don't. So all those misperceptions about what people want when they retire or when they want to do it, in that case, I think is being totally torn apart by the idea that people are going to live longer, healthier, and hopefully in a better financial state than they have in the past. Speaking of financial shape, retirement savings, or the lack of, is a huge concern. What do you see as a priority to help ensure that everyone doesn't spend that old age in poverty? Well, that's exactly why we hope that people are saving their own money, that hopefully they have a pension or a 401k at their place of work, and that they are not solely depending on Social Security, because we think that you have to have all three of those. And right now, we are in the middle of this huge fight to bring down the cost of prescription drugs. We know that the older you get, the more prescription drugs you take. And the fact is that some people are spending 30 to 40% of their retirement income on the cost of prescription drugs. That depends on, it's one of those things that really cuts back on their financial security. Also, when Social Security was put in place, people, that was 1935, were retiring earlier than and living shorter lives. It's all the more reason we need to address these issues of Social Security solvency and also adequacy, so that it's not just our generation, but generations to come. What drew you to this job? You've got plenty of background in DC, but what drew you to this niche? I've always worked in jobs that are focused on giving back and helping others. Dennis just called in and said to call him back. Asked me if I'd come to head of their charitable arm, which focuses on low income. So when I came to AARP, my intentions were I know for me, I'm living at 61 very different than the parent lived when they were 61. And we're all still in the workplace. And we're all being very productive. And I think that's what's important, is that this age cohort is living very differently and contributing to society as not just a burden. So I think that this is the right call, and I'm about to make it. I had my
Hey, Charlie.
Well, Dennis, thank you very much. The reason you couldn't call me is I had been taking a nap and I woke up at 3:15 and I didn't turn off my turn the phone back on. So,
how you doing?
well, I'm doing pretty good, and our exchanges at any time on any media are just delicious, Dennis.
It's a great topic, isn't it?
It's a great topic, and you're a great partner.
Appreciate it, Charlie. Thank you. So, talk to me about this lady you interviewed.
Well, because I had graduated in 2013 from Spaulding, which is part of Partners, in 2014, I started going to the Partners Connected Health Conference, which is 2,000 or 3,000 people. And I kept going back each year, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and associated with another group on personalized health. And like I did with Pete Buttigieg this weekend, I have no trouble going up to the front of the crowd and introducing myself to the speaker. And so I was so taken by Joanne Jenkins, the fact that she had been at the Library of Congress, which is very important to our work, and that she was able to be so articulate and so passionate and so understanding the broader issues that I felt that would be a great organization to work with. And I've been back to AARP. I think I met her in 2017, but I'm not sure. But also Irma Rastegayeva is a major attendee, and I've gotten to know Joe Kvedar, who runs these conferences. So you had given that as an example of one that you had been working with in July 24th, and you mentioned it again at last week's meeting. And so I couldn't believe that when I looked at my email this morning that you had sent me that Living to 100 paper, and so that's about what I know about it. But you tell me.
Well, I don't know if you know Jeannie Meister or not. She's the one that does the Future Workplace, and she's attended a couple of the AARP. So the AARP is trying to figure out how do they stay relevant in a era where people don't retire at 50 and stop doing stuff, right? And people are going to live to a lot longer. And how is the AARP relevant to them? Because it was always seen as just a tool for retirement resources, but really it wants to become a tool for economic impact resources for people who are older. So they hold these events around the country. I have to find the link I have to them and see if there's one that's going to go around in your neck of the woods. But they hold events around the country in webinars or seminars and workshops so that the older generation can do some more thinking and training around getting trained on these newer technologies so that they stay relevant. And so I figured, if anybody has any relevance around this 100-year life, it should be them. And we're thinking about it from the whole brain and the moonshot and the mind shot, and somebody who could sponsor it or be part of a sponsor, they would probably be a good candidate.
Well, I couldn't agree more that they would be an ideal partner. And as I've been working along here as a exemplary old elder person with one partner in Heo Kong, and coping with a minimal dribble of cash flow, but keeping my eye on the horizon and the big prizes, I decided that just because I don't have any money and just because I haven't got an organization or capability doesn't mean I shouldn't go for the gold. So the question that I want us to talk about is how do we proceed with these many, many, many opportunities, each one looks better than the last one, that are just right for us?
Well, Well, I think it's a question of prioritization, right? We can't just berserk because there's so many of them. We need to sort of dwindle them down to the one or two that we think have the higher probability of getting engaged and attack them, and then have a fallback plan B list that says, well, if these don't work out, we go to this list. But I think we should just, look at the top two or three that we want to go after them hard, and then see if we strike out or not. And if we don't strike out, then we continue that. But I think those organizations would want to have some level of being in the early participation, so that they don't get nudged out later on, right? So those that have a little bit better forward thinking on their strategies would want to get involved, as opposed to waiting for this to play out even more maturely.
Well, I agree with that. At the conference that I attended, the issue was they had a process that they suggested to me to go through a very elaborate proposal stage and get considered to do a very tiny project. And so I'm not in a position by myself to approach them. And I think we have to approach them with our whole team at the highest level, and approach more than one. But I think with the urgency of the issue and the capability that we have right now, as you and Joe suggested, we have to move very rapidly. And so I want to do it, and I can help support it, but I need your help in doing it.
Okay, well, let's I don't have time today to noodle it out, but let me put together some thoughts, and we can have another call on this, on what our approach would be to these organizations and sponsors.
Okay. And Dennis, I would like to be as clear as I can about what I've been thinking. And you probably have taken a look at that moonshot material.
Yeah, I went to the site. Pretty impressive.
Pretty damn impressive. And they have 11 moonshots. Access to care, cost to zero. This is from what I remember. Cure disease, cancer moonshot, women's health moonshot, children's health moonshot, nutrition and fitness, brain health, dementia, Alzheimer's, racking my little noggin for it, but
it's awesome. Yeah.
It's awesome. I believe that the 12th moonshot could be the Mindshot moonshot.
Yes.
And that we could. I have the publishing capability with the Harvard Advocate and with Brian Selstrom to help create a whole magazine that is devoted to the 12th moonshot, the Mindshot moonshot, and bring together all of the stuff that shows that by having a conceptual framework that will provide a tool to the whole world, that all the other moonshots will get systematized, sequenced, organized, etc.
Oh yeah, I think it helps all the other ones. Yes.
And Dennis, I want your proposal, but if you look on that, I forget what page it is, but it lists the CEO and managing partner, and the president and managing partner, and the chairman executive. I need to shift back and be more kind of and be a chairman and an inventor and help as I can. But I want you to be thinking about on a evolving, gradual basis, being our CEO, and I'm hoping that Tony Yacobian can be our president and managing partner on on internal stuff, and that I'm quite confident that Irma Rastegayeva, whom you got to talk with a little bit last week, and that she's on board. I believe we can really put it together.
Yeah, I was very impressed with her. Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to be upfront that I want you to be our leader gradually, and I look forward to putting some thoughts on paper. But remember, I do a hell of a lot, and even this weekend I went up to see Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty cool.
Managed to get my picture taken, get a video of the thing. I even got the whole thing transcribed, the whole video of mine transcribed, and I found a way to do it in 10 minutes for $4.50. And beyond that, and that's what I did for the notes for the board meeting. I believe that, I see the technology unfolding in such a way that we can provide a framework for every conversation. You there?
Yep, I'm here.
A framework for conversations, whether it's between in a board meeting with the attendees, or with a physician and a patient, or between a politician and a voter, or between a physician, and record that conversation, and then have it automatically translated, and then with artificial intelligence have it allocated and framed so it gets turned into instantly a slick plan of what the patient is going to be doing.
I love that. Yep.
So there's so much going on, and your speed and your understanding and your being there is just wonderful for me, Dennis.
Well, I'm there to help, and let me give it some more thought, and we can connect a little bit more later this week.
I'm here on Thursday afternoon. I've got a big presentation at Harvard Graduate School of Education. They got $30 million from Zuckerberg.
Oh yeah.
And I'm recruiting. I'm trying to do a recruiting, but also to be, as another candidate to help us build this, but to get the funding from Harvard.
Yeah, I saw that based on that email you sent around to. That's good.
So try to make it by Wednesday if you can.
I will do that.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Well, that was just great.